So you're now about to make your first $100,000, which is a big milestone for most people. What advice would you give now that you're like basically there? What would you have done differently, or what do you think you could have done better?
I think for sure one thing is to niche down. I think take a few days to really just map out the pros and cons to each one of these routes, because at the end of the day, guys, like, you can make it, whether it's if you want to do just full flipping, you want to just do, Airbnb, like, it doesn't matter. They all work. The real thing here is, like, do you work, right? So niche down first and foremost. Go all in into one thing as your first year. Learn as much as you can when it comes to that. I think in my first few months when I joined, as you know, there's all kinds of calls. And guess what I did? For the first month, I joined all of the calls. And guess how I felt? Overwhelmed. Holy cow, where do I get this whole ball rolling? So really think about the pros and cons on each thing if this is what you want to do, and niche down on it. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to folks that are like, I have a good, social media marketing agency. I talked to one guy right now. He says he was making about $50K per month. And he says he wants to get into wholesaling. And I look at him and I say, why? Oh, well, I heard it's like really good money and I just want, why? You're making good money right now. Why don't you just really go all into that? And from, $50K, you go up to $150 per month. Well, it's just because, look, guys, niche down, and really when you map out those pros and cons, look at where you have like an unfair upper hand, right? For me, is sales. I love doing sales. I may not be the best at like Airbnb or flipping, so guess what? Like, why the heck would I go try that? I'm not going to do that. Right. I'm going to go into what I'm good at. So that's the first thing. Second thing I'd say would be to network like crazy. I mean, I've reached out to you one-on-one just to make friends, right? I think the biggest thing is you don't want to be somebody who just takes value. Right. You want to give value, but you also want to just make friends with somebody. Before you start asking about how you're doing it and what's going on with you, why don't you care, and why don't you want to make friends with somebody first and foremost? Because then it's going to make the whole process of trying to ask them for help easier, because now they like you and they're going to want to fight for you just like you're going to want to fight for them. I think building an actual friendship with somebody and networking, those two things I would say are the biggest things that I would say to someone that's brand new.
I like it. So yeah, one thing I want to give you a shout out for, dude, is whenever we're on the sales calls. So if you guys are a wealthy investor, we do sales calls on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brian here came on the call, and he was just telling us about, oh man, I think this person's getting a little wishy-washy. I think they might back out, and like, what do I say here? And he already knew what to say. He's a natural salesperson, and so Brian will put himself in uncomfortable situations, and I think that you react a whole lot better than what you give yourself credit for. So he calls the person, and it goes just as smooth as butter. Brian has handled it amazing, and it was all on the live call while there's 40 people watching. And I've been in sales a long time. It's a whole lot different when there's multiple people there and they're judging what you're saying, telling you what you could have said better. I don't get nervous in sales situations very often, but when I'm in front of 40, 50 people, I get sweaty, I get nervous, and I've been doing this now for about 10 years. Brian has been doing this for less than a year, and he's willing to put himself in uncomfortable situations. So that's how I know that you're going to be successful, because you're willing to put yourself in the situation to force yourself to succeed. So yeah, I just want to congratulate you on that.
Thank you for that. I mean, I think to, give props to you too. Whenever we were on that, you were like, dude, close it, like, get it done, close it. And that really pumped me up. I was like, oh my gosh, because it was like 40 some people on it. Yeah. But dude, I mean, I can't let you down. And like, I got to get on this call and just close it. So that's what I just did.
That was freaking awesome, man. Yeah, I love it. That is it. Thank you guys for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
That was awesome, man.
Nice, man.
Yeah, thank you. Seriously, though, that was freaking awesome. When you did that, I was like, dude, I gained so much respect.